Hello YouTube! So today we are going to talk about feeding your soul and representation. But before we get into that, I need to talk about Supergirl. Supergirl is amazing. It's a great show. If you're not watching it, you should be, because it is just beautiful. There is a complexity to the characters and the relationships that is just a magnificent example of storytelling and writing and humanity, and it makes me so excited and happy. And in particular, there's one element of Supergirl that I feel is doing really well that isn't being done in a lot of other television, stories, media in general. And that is the relationship that they have between the mothers and the daughters on the show. It is their portrayal of those mother-daughter relationships yields so much more complexity to those relationships that I think reflects a bigger, more realistic picture of what those relationships are actually like, because within the framework of the show, there is this underlying consistent desire for all of the daughters to get approval from their mothers, and we get to see what happens when they do get it and what happens when they don't, and what happens when there's a miscommunication between those two things. And it is so refreshing to get all of that complexity, to see it span multiple episodes, and to not have at the end someone slap a band-aid on it and act like everything is fine for the sake of the plot or the story, or putting a nice neat bow on it at the end. And in general, that is what I love about Supergirl. She is so happy and bright and such a wonderful person. But she puts up with so much, and we get to see her struggle and be angry and be afraid and really have to learn what her limits are and how to work around them. And I think that that is something that is so incredibly powerful, especially because a lot of times it's not done or done well in media in general. And that sort of got me thinking a little bit about relationships and representation and what our media is doing now that is so exciting and that feeds people's souls, because Supergirl feeds my soul in a way that not a lot of other media has recently. And there's a heart to it that resonates with me. And it makes me so happy and hopeful and excited. And I'm pretty lucky and privileged in that I have a lot more options than the average person when it comes to finding myself in media. But this particular one is doing so well, and I am so excited for the media being created right now that gets to feed lots of people's souls. So it has me really excited about all of the new media that we are creating. The Netflix specials that are appealing to a wider audience, Fresh Off the Boat, How to Get Away with Murder, Jessica Jones, Supergirl, and so many more that are becoming more representative and are allowing more people to find the content and the stories that feed their souls. And I think that we should be aspiring to find that content, and I think that we should also be aspiring to create that content. Because if we're creating the things that feed people's souls, the things that tell the stories, even if it doesn't feed your soul specifically, just to have extra options, to have things to choose from, to get to find yourself in media, and not just the idealized version of your sexuality or your race or your gender or your culture or anything else that media can do such a great job at portraying. Like, to have options within those it's amazing. And I think that we do a real disservice to ourselves when we skew our media the way that Hollywood oftentimes skews it towards a stereotypical white guy. And I think that if we tell more stories about more people and we get to portray more reality of what those things are like, and we use our minds and our ability to imagine things complexly for all of that, we're going to get to a place eventually, I think, where not every story has to be good, and not every story has to be representative of the perfect ideal of the things. And I think that's huge, and I think that is awesome, and it's a great thing, and it fills me with hope that this is a thing that we might get to do. So, until next time, read more books, play more games, feed your soul, and don't forget to be awesome. Bye, YouTube.